Infer versus imply. Can infer imply imply? Okay, that's a crazy title, but bear with me. Got into a good-natured discussion with someone on another Stack Exchange site, and I was correcting him on the use of infer versus imply. The discussion can be found here, at this URL. He pointed me to a dictionary entry for infer that seems to use the definition for imply. This URL. The fourth definition that is given there reads, suggest, hint, are you inferring I'm incompetent? That, to me, is a classic example of where someone should not use infer, but should use imply. But maybe I'm wrong? Granted, it's the fourth of 4 definitions, and so presumably less common, but I thought the two, imply and infer, had totally distinct meanings. According to definition number 4 on that link, infer can imply imply. Am I nuts? Am I the only one surprised by this? Very possible. I'm often surprised by English. Or is it possible that the dictionary is something less than accurate? It's not a mom-and-pop shop, so that seems unlikely, but I throw it out there as a possibility. But if the dictionary is wrong, where do you go to find evidence of it? Who watches the Watchmen?
In common usage, there is a subtle difference between the two. Imply tends to refer to meaning that is intended by the author speaker. Infer, on the other hand, tends to refer to meaning that is gleaned by the reader-listener. For this reason, if communication is taking place effectively, the information implied by the speaker should be inferred by the listener, and hence in such circumstances inferred information is implied and implied information is inferred. The difference becomes more important when information is miscommunicated. In such a circumstance, the listener may infer something that was not intended by the speaker, or the speaker may imply something that is not properly communicated to the listener. Here we can see that the two phrases here are equivalent. Are you inferring I'm incompetent? Have you concluded that I am incompetent? This is subtly different too. Are you implying that I'm incompetent? Which means, is it your intention to state that I'm incompetent? In the former, the speaker wishes to know if the listener has deducted or concluded that the speaker is incompetent, presumably based on the conversation with the speaker. In the latter, the speaker is not asking if the listener thinks the speaker is incompetent, but rather is asking whether the listener is intending to call, either indirectly or directly, the speaker incompetent. Consider the difference thus. 1. We've read the documents surrounding your conduct on the McNeilson case. Point 2. Have you inferred that I am incompetent? Having read the documents, is it your conclusion that I am incompetent? Versus 1. I've submitted some documents surrounding your poor decision-making to the McNeilson panel. Point 2. Are you implying that I'm incompetent? Are you intending to suggest that I am incompetent?
The same Merriam-Webster link provides the answer further down. At present, Sense4 is found in print chiefly in letters to the editor and other informal prose, not in serious intellectual writing. The controversy over Sense4 has apparently reduced the frequency of use of Sense3.
An analogy here, in the American South, it is not uncommon to say, I'm going to learn you some manners, when in fact the appropriate phrase is, I'm going to teach you some manners. When two words identifying the same activity, in the case of infer/imply, extracting an implicit meaning from a text or teach/learn, to pass on knowledge in some fashion. But from opposite points of view, the author implies, the reader infers, it is not unreasonable for the mistaken usage to gain currency. Here, I would suggest the same issue, a miswage that has gained sufficient currency as to be recorded. The definition is thus descriptive, not prescriptive.
The speaker or writer implies by what he says/writes. The listener/reader infers, rightly or wrongly, from what he hears/reads.